What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today I am making a video that I have been waiting to make for the longest time, and now that the Rams have finally played my Minnesota Vikings, I thought now is the time to make the video, and props to the Rams defense for putting on an absolute show against the Vikings. Alright, so this is an opinion that I have had before the start of the season. I believe that Matthew Stafford is the most overrated quarterback in the entire NFL, and I have all the statistics to back it up, so without further ado, let's get straight into this thing. Now, before I actually get into these points, let me make it clear that overrated does not mean bad. Because I think Matthew Stafford is overrated does not mean I think he is bad. Just wanted to make that clear. So heading into week 17 of the NFL season, the Rams are currently 11-4 and number 1 in the NFC West. Now, if we take a deeper look into the Rams' schedule this year, they are currently 8-0 against teams with losing records and 3-4 against teams with winning records. Now, you might be asking yourself, why is the record of the team significant? Well, it's because we all know that the record of the team is always associated with the quarterback. Whether you're on a highly successful team with a winning record or you're on a poor team with a losing record, the blame is always put on the quarterback, and they're always held responsible for what the record of the team is. Now, some people might be thinking, well, that's not how it should be, but that's how it is. Now, that 3-4 record that the Rams hold against winning teams is significant because that means that when you're up against higher competition, Matthew Stafford just cannot pull through. And I can debunk the 3 wins that they currently have against winning teams. First of all, we're going to start off with the Indianapolis Colts. The Rams got to play the Colts in week 2 of the NFL season, and if we take a look at the start of the season for the Colts started off their season extremely slow, starting off 1-4. So the Rams got them at a good time when they were just not playing well as a team. Now, the Rams' second win against a winning team came just a week later here in week 3 when they played the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, I will admit that this was a very impressive statistical game for Matthew Stafford, throwing 4 touchdowns and no interceptions. But there is a key factor in this game that must be made aware. In this game, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers had their 2 starting cornerbacks out in Sean Murphy-Bunting and Jamel Dean, which made them play with 3 corners that they don't typically play with. Now, Carlton Davis, yes, does get into the rotation most of the time, but after that, it was Ross Cockrell and D. Delaney. Who? So my point is, the Rams got to play a very depleted secondary that game, and Matthew Stafford had options like Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods to throw to against Ross Cockrell and D. Delaney. Please tell me who D. Delaney is. I still don't know who he is. Oh, right. He's like the Buccaneers' 6th-string corner now. Now, the Rams' 3rd win against a winning team comes against the Arizona Cardinals. Now, the Cardinals have a good record. There's no doubt about that. But the key thing is that they started off the season extremely hot, starting 7-0 in the first 7 weeks of the season. After that, though, they've been 3-5, and they have been probably one of the most unraveling and struggling teams in the league right now. The Rams took advantage of that, and they won during this team's cold stretch. But when they played them back in that 7-game stretch to start off the season, did they beat the Cardinals? No. In that first game against Arizona, Matthew Stafford only threw for 280 yards on 41 pass attempts. That is not good enough to beat a very good Arizona team, at the time at least. Now, some of you guys may have stopped listening to me and said this is just complete nonsense because Matthew Stafford is 4th in the league in passing yards and 2nd in the league in touchdowns. There's no way that this guy is overrated. Well, let me tell you why he is so high up in those 2 categories this season. Now, let me remind you guys again that the Rams are 8-0 against teams with losing records. And the teams with losing records that they have played have been horrible. The combined record of the teams that the Rams have played with losing records is 22, 67, and 1, which, if you do the math, is a 25% winning percentage. That is atrocious, and it gets even worse. Out of the 8 losing teams that the Rams have played this season, 4 of them are currently picking in the top 5 of this year's NFL draft, and 6 of them are drafting within the top 10. That is so bad. Now, I know some of you guys are saying, well, that's not Matthew Stafford's fault that he gets to play all of those shitty teams. Well, Yeah, it's not his fault, obviously, but that's the only reason why he's second in touchdowns and fourth in passing yards. It's because he gets to just shit on the shit teams. Now, if we take a look at the statistics in those games, Matthew Stafford has a 2-to-1 interception ratio against teams with winning records and a 3-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio against teams with losing records. So he is averaging a whole touchdown more against teams with losing records this season. And in addition to all of that, Matthew Stafford is ranked as the 12th quarterback according to PFF. And some of you guys may be saying, well, PFF isn't legit. Well, NBC uses it, ESPN uses it, NFL Network themselves uses it. It's the most reliable source in the NFL right now. And the last thing that I want to show you guys in this video are some clips from the game against the Minnesota Vikings. So this play, Stafford is rolling around in the pocket, and then boom, Merry fucking Christmas. Anthony Barr interception at the 12-yard line. And then this next interception, he's going deep. Who the hell are you throwing it to? Double coverage, 5 yards short. And then this play, big boy right in front of your face, batted down, picked off by Anthony Barr inside the 10-yard line again. I don't understand how all of that happens against one of the worst defenses in the league. And not even just that, it's one of the worst secondaries in the league this year as well. Matthew Stafford is overrated.